SwoleBenji here. We're going to go over the new Area 51 raid. I'll be talking about the encounters, the loot, the zone itself, and strategies you can use so that you'll make progress deeper into the zone and possibly get some epic alien artifact loot you can use to eventually do the higher tier raids. Do note that this raid has never been fully cleared and no one truly knows the end boss mechanics, as the top PvP clans are currently occupying the zone, preventing other guilds from attempting it. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's go over the zone. Area 51 is located in a desert biome, meaning you're going to have to deal with the hydration and heat. You'll need lots of water if you want to sustain in this climate, as well as light-fitting breathable armor. I suggest clothing you'd wear to the gym if you want to beat the heat debuffs. Lots of players will come unprepared, so if you're wanting to level your mercantile, you can sell water to other players. As a former retail specialist, I recommend selling a $1 gallon jug of water for up to $6 each. If you're running with a dedicated group, you should always have a water boy handy. Trash mobs won't be a problem, as most are just low-level beasts or snakes, and this raid zone will be filled with players. If you're near the raid gates and are attacked, the PvP guild US military will radio you some aid, so it's not a big deal. The terrain is mostly dry and rocky, nothing really to loot or scavenge. There are many encounters you'll face even before you get into the good bits of this raid. Before we talk about the bosses and fights, I want to cover how this particular region negates a lot of class abilities, items, and techniques that most players will use. First off is any form of stealth do not work. This prevents players from simply stealthing into the armories and looting all the sick alien tech. All manner of stealth and invisibility are negated. Using camouflage gear will not help, as the area has countless cameras, both obviously mounted as well as in the rocks and grass. The entire zone is monitored from an out-of-bounds entity known as the Satellite, which gives the controlling guild an aerial view of any and all activity in the area, as in no fog of war. Furthermore, the players of the guild as well as the cameras are all equipped with infrared, motion, and night vision capability, meaning you can't use the cover of darkness, cloaking, witchcraft, or disguises. Flying or trying to exploit the Z-axis will get you instantly player killed, as the skies are patrolled by a deadly drone equipped with epic armaments, as well as a raid boss hover jet that can destroy multiple raid groups in seconds. Using drones or other flying machinations will have them immediately taken out, and you'll aggro the faction's police, who will jail your character for over 10 years. Ouch. Mounts, vehicles, and other modes of transport will most likely be cut off or blocked by the local enforcement, meaning you're going to have to travel on foot through a desert for over 15 miles before you can even do this raid. Most players aren't high enough leveled or trained for such an ordeal. The local roads aren't even built to accommodate large raid sizes anyway, so expect long queue times and frustrating server crashes before you can even begin to see the raid zone. Finally, with the weakened cell towers nearby from all Zoomers live streaming the raid, expect a self-inflicted DDoS on the nearby networks. If you aren't raiding, don't expect to see much content until the media factions arrive to cover things. Upon zoning into the raid, one of the very first encounters you'll have is a sniper in a white truck. The white truck sniper is a one-shot mechanic boss that has a 100% chance to hit with a one-shot, one-kill attack that can't be avoided even when concealed or behind cover, as the weapon the player is using is capable of penetrating lightly armored vehicles. Lucky for you, this boss doesn't actually aggro unless you're actively attacking or trespassing into a clearly marked PvP raid zone. As long as you're not brandishing guns or crossing the do not enter lines, the sniper won't start combat, giving you all the time you need to buff yourself or your raid. The sniper shares aggro with the entire raid's bosses as well as the hovering aircraft, so it's best advised that you just ignore this mob. Its truck allows it to be extra mobile, so if you're not piloting an epic mount outfitted for the desert travel, you'll never be able to get close enough to DPS anyway. And with the hover jet, it will just AoE your entire raid while being out of targeting distance anyway. It's very unbalanced. I tried to apply to join their guild once, and I got rejected because my eyesight was too bad. Oh well. The next encounter is the outpost fence. This is the point where if you cross it, you'll aggro the encounter. The cameras and auto turrets will track your movement, and the players may opt to gunning you down if you cross. If you step foot into this part of the raid, you immediately get a 1 year of jail time. Many high rank PvP foot soldiers will have weapons drawn as well, and they use top tier weaponry and armor that normal players won't even be able to withstand. Another encounter that people may not realize is the undercover agents. These are players who pretend to be part of your raid, but are actually part of the raid. These players will cast constant debuffs on your raid, trying to get people to attack each other and cause mischief amongst the raiders. These guys are generally swole or athletic builds, and might even be wearing combat boots or have a more rough, weathered skin. Assuming raids survive storming the gates, the raiders will be met by countless forms of crowd control and debuffs being cast on the raid. This includes sound cannons, which will inhibit your hearing, microwaves, which will make your skin feel like a burning sensation and itch like crazy, a puke laser, which causes you to vomit and lose food buffs as well as lower hydration, a brown note, which will cause you to urinate and defecate, causing more hydration issues, tear gas, which will lower your accuracy rating and perception, a sound reflector that will cause you to hear your own voice and trip up your words, pepper spray, which causes pain and lowers perception, flashbang grenades, which can stun you and lower perception, chaff grenades, which will eliminate your electronic based abilities, very bright spotlights will be shined on the raid, which restricts your ability to target players towards the light source, rubber bullets and beanbags, which will stun lock you, stagger your casting times, and cause your mobility to decrease, and even cause weaker, lower leveled players to run in fear, tasers, which will stun lock you, cancel your abilities, sometimes causing a knockdown, and giving you a stop action if constantly applied. How do you counter these elements? It's important for any good raider to have their pre-bis, or best in slot gear, for such encounters, earplugs for the sound cannons, reflective oil for the microwaves, suntan lotion for the desert biome, gym clothing for heat resistance and agility. To counter the puke laser, just make sure not to consume food buffs for 6 hours before the raid, though you'll still vomit your liquids. For the brown note, make sure you take a bathroom break at least 30 minutes before raid time. Tear gas is countered by gas masks, and you can negate the sound reflector by playing Steam games with Voice Loopback 1 enabled, and learning to talk through the sound of your own voice. A few hours of practice a day and you'll be immune to these effects. Pepper spray can be cleansed by milk. Flashbangs can be avoided as long as you don't keyboard turn your character. You can flick 180 degrees to avoid the blind. Earplugs will save you from the sound. You can also use shades, but most raids happen in the evening, and shades will cause your perception to be low at night. Though if they apply spotlights, then shades are an absolute must. Chaff grenades can be countered by wrapping your electronics in foil before the raid, or just not being a technomancer. Simply let all the Kyles and Naruto runners tank the initial wave of chaff spam. Rubber bullets and beanbags are countered by equipping armament to protect your body from paintballs, or even SWAT raiding gear if you have access to such items. I highly recommend the set bonus from a full paintball set, with gym clothes as under armor. Finally, to counter tasers, you either need to be a low body fat percent, I recommend under 13%, or you can have a severe hydration stat, as the lack of water in your body will be insufficient to conduct electricity, allowing you to resist the nature damage. Alright, so you've beaten the truck sniper, the aircraft, and the gates, and the suppression system spam. Gotten past the auto turrets, taken down the opposing guild who controls the zone, you've downed the possible alien raid bosses who may or may not exist. Now what? What kind of loot can you expect? You can get the legendary flying UFO mount, a 1% chance to drop, allowing you to literally travel across the cosmos. Or for me, a faster way to go to the local McDonald's. Also, you can get the artifact grade weaponry such as the fabled laser sword, the plasma and laser blasters, and other such energy weapons, though good luck getting the ammo. The real fun stuff is in the trinkets. You got personal teleporters, character model morphs, nebulizers, shields, anti-gravity boots, and of course, Half-Life 3. If you manage to get a raid fully geared, you can then do the next raid, which is even more difficult, the Cheyenne Mountain in Denver, Colorado. This is where you'd go to learn the highest fire damage spell in the entire game, capable of AoEing entire guilds worth of people. After the raid, those that are left alive, because this is a hardcore server we're on, will Hearthstone, Uber back to Las Vegas to mount the big alien brain on a pike atop Caesar's Palace, giving a city-wide buff which unites people's resolve, allowing them to be more friendly towards each other, as well as increasing luck so that they'll win more games at the local casino, and possibly get a Dalaran's main hand in UBRS, or in my case, a group invite after days of spamming looking for group. Please invite me to your groups, please. Rumor has it that the devs might even push the next major expansion of the game after this raid's success, allowing people to roll as an alien life form and do galactic PvP. We'll see. One can only hope something spices up life other than WoW Classic and Final Fantasy VII Remake. Thanks for watching, guys. This is primarily a video game channel, but sometimes I'll make silly things like this for the heck of it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If anyone that's watching happens to be on Skyrim, Realm, World of Warcraft Classic, please invite SwoleBenji to your groups. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm having a difficult time getting geared or finding decent raids to loot, so I'd be eternally grateful if you helped me out in this regard. I don't have a Patreon, but if you like this and you want to support me, I've got a donation link in the description. And if you want to come meme with the Swole Squad, there's a Discord link too. If you play WoW Classic and want rogue related content, feel free to subscribe, and if you ring that bell icon, YouTube won't randomly unsub you. As always, be a bro and stay swole.